some vibrant writing communities that exist to help groups of people connect with each other and support each other and encourage each other by giving helpful critiques of their writing. And you just have to find which one works for you so that you're getting the kind of feedback you can use to make your writing better.
I don't imagine anyone who can't take criticism would be a very good author.
No, there's a lot of criticism, a lot of feedback, a lot of rejection, and a lot of that criticism is valid. It's stuff you need to know all along the way. No matter how many books you have published, your editor's still going to send you back comments on the manuscript and say, I think you need to touch this up here and there. And, you have to be able to step back from it and say, wow, you know what? I thought I had it perfect, but you're right. It would be even better if I did that.
So what, in your opinion, makes a good book?
I want to feel like I have opened a door into another world and that I'm having an adventure with real people. And to me, the mark of a great book is when I close the book and I feel sad because I'm not going to be spending time with those people anymore.
Well, that's a very unique way of looking at it. Yeah. So how do you, as an author, deal with what everybody knows as the writer's block? How do you get past that?
Fortunately, knock on wood, I don't run into that a lot. But we're also doing 3 books a year plus a short story every month.
Wow.
And this year I also contributed to 9 anthologies. So that's a huge amount of pages and words.
It is.
And I'm very fortunate that my husband's come into the business with me in the last several years, and he plays a very important behind-the-scenes role. And with the new steampunk book next year, Iron and Blood, he'll be my official co-author. But when I do get to a point where I go, okay, I need a fight scene here, and this is how it's got to end, but I'm a little muddled in the middle, we can sit down and have a cup of coffee, and he's turned into a terrific brainstorming partner on this. So I don't stay stuck for long.
Wow. So how long does it, from the time you get the idea to the time it comes, you get the finished book in your hand, the published book in your hand, how long does it take you usually? I'm not talking about the e-books here. I'm not talking about e-books.
It can take anywhere from about 6 months to about a year. But I have had books that it was 6 months from the time I turned in the final version of the manuscript to when it showed up on the shelves, and to me that is almost like magic because there's so much that has to happen to bring a print book into the world and then have it on everybody's Barnes & Noble shelf or Indigo shelf. That to me is magic.
Tell me, what was it like the first time you walked into a brick-and-mortar bookstore and saw your book on the shelf?
For years, and I'm talking decades, I had wanted to see my book on that shelf. And every time I would go to the bookstore, I would go to the place where the M's were on the shelf, and I would move them aside, and I would put my hand in that empty spot, and I would close my eyes, and I would picture my hand on the spine of a book with my name on it. And so when The Summoner came out and I walked into the bookstore, and I didn't have to imagine anymore, it was there. I jumped up and down. I mean,
Did you buy a copy?
Well, authors get author copies from the publisher,
Sure.
so I didn't have to buy it there. But I have occasionally, been buying books at a bookstore, and when I go to check out, occasionally somebody will take a double take at the name on the credit card and go, you've got the same name as one of, and that's
Wow.
me, honest.
Fascinating.
That's always kind of thrilling.
Yeah, it is. I remember the first issue of the X-Chronicles newspaper going back to 1993 that came out, and we were shopping, and the X-Chronicles was distributed at the time through one of the major grocery chains in the newsstand, and I was so thrilled. I actually bought the newspaper. And I still have it today with that receipt in a clear plastic vacuumed air pack envelope. And to me, it was so thrilling. Here it was, my newspaper. I published it, and yet I had to buy it because it was in a store. So I understand the feeling that you have. And I don't know, it makes it all worthwhile.
Oh, it does. And it's even more worthwhile when you get the emails, you get the Facebook messages from people who your book got them through a tough time.
Yeah.
And maybe that was sitting at a bedside for somebody at the hospital, or I've had so many emails and Facebook messages from guys in the service who are someplace really dangerous, and their break from a pretty awful reality is that they get to lose themselves in a book. And I am so honored and so privileged to be able to tell them stories that make it better.
So what's next for you? Are you going to get that movie deal?
Well, I would love to. Movie, HBO, my phone line is open. But we're under contract for three more books next year. So that'll be an epic fantasy and an urban fantasy and the new steampunk story. We'll be bringing out a new short story every month, and there are already starting to be some new anthology projects. And so it's a good deal. I'm thrilled. I'm getting to write stories, and that's what has been my lifelong dream.
How do you as an author see the line between books that are fiction and books about the paranormal, theories, or observed phenomenon?
Well, again, I think if somebody is trying to the best of their ability to write a factual recounting of what they have experienced, what they have seen, then to me that's legitimate. I worry when things are a little too pat and I feel like somebody has fictionalized something without telling me that. It makes a great story, but at some point we've crossed that line from journalistic observation to, writing the Blair Witch Project. And I do want to know where that line is from observed phenomenon to, and we've jazzed this up to make it a good story.
And then so many authors do that. So many. Well,
they do, and it's kind of like people who write a memoir, and all of a sudden they're recounting conversations word for word that happened 30 years ago. Now, nobody's memory is that good. So that some of that has been fictionalized or embellished because unless you walked around with a tape recorder, you don't have all of those details at your fingertips.
Gail, stand by. You and I have to take our final break for this hour. Exonation, Gail Z. Martin is our special guest this hour. Her website is www.deadlycuriosities.com. That's www.deadlycuriosities.com. Now, I'll be back with Gail on the other side of this break as we wrap up this hour here in the X Zone that's coming to you worldwide from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My name is Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
www.deadlycuriosities.com is the website where you can get more information on our special guest this hour, Gail Z. Martin. And Gail, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here in the X Zone tonight.
Well, thank you so much for having me. We always have a great conversation.
Yes, we do. What are the final words you'd like to leave with the X Zone Nation tonight?
Well, I think just keep on observing, keep on looking for what's out there, because Scully and Muldoon had it right. The truth is out there, and there's a lot we don't know, and isn't the mystery wonderful?
Tell me, off-the-cuff question here. Do you think the governments of the world are suppressing information on UFOs?
Well, I think governments in general suppress all kinds of stuff, whether it's on UFOs or not, I don't know. But, it wouldn't be the oddest thing in the world. Who knows?
Tell me, do you believe in aliens? And I mean the ones from outer space, not from Mexico.
I think it's a very, very big universe out there, and I'd be surprised if we were all alone in it. So I'm not ruling anything out.
Funny. So when's your next book coming out?
Well, the next book is War of Shadows, comes out in April of 2015, and then Iron and Blood comes out in July 2015, and the second Deadly Curiosities book will come out in November of next year.
Wow, so you've already planned a year ahead.
Oh, yeah, and they're written, so...
My gosh. So
got to keep ahead of the curve.
I guess so. Gail, as always, a great pleasure talking to you. Once again, thanks very much for joining us tonight. And tell our listeners where they can get copies of your book. And once again, give them your website.
Sure. My books are in bookstores everywhere, so you can find me in Indigos and Waterstones and Barnes & Noble, and on Amazon, of course, on Kindle, Kobo, and Nook. And you can catch up with me and everything that's coming up on deadlycuriosities.com.
Gail, take care of yourself. My regards to your husband, and I look forward to the next time you join us back here in the X Zone.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Good night, Gail. X Zone Nation, my guest this hour has been Gail Z. Martin. Once again, her website is www.deadlycuriosities.com. That's www.deadlycuriosities.com. Now, I'll be back on the other side of the news at 6.5 minutes past the top of the hour as we continue here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. Whatever you do, don't go away. We'll be right back.